Hello Cleo and Jessie, and welcome back to More Adventures of the Wishing Chair by Enid Blyton. I've lost my page in the book. There we go. Now, last time we read Two Bad Children, where the children went and spoiled the chair. I look a bit funny on there, don't I? It's because it's a sunny day today. Spoiled the chair, and Mother let them put it back in the playroom. And at the end of the story, Peter said, "I'm longing for another adventure. I wish it would grow its wings again." "It soon will," said Chinky. "I expect it wants another adventure as much as we do." Now the next story is 10 and 10, chapter 20, The Horrid Quarrel. One morning, Molly, Peter and Chinky were playing in the playroom at the bottom of the garden. It had been raining all morning, which was horrid in the summertime. The children and the pixie were very tired of staying indoors. They played Ludo and Snap and Drafts and Snakes and Ladders and Dominoes. Now there didn't seem to be any other game to play, and they were getting cross and bored. "Cheer up, Peter," said Molly, looking at Peter's cross face. "You look like a monkey that's lost its tail." "And you look like a giraffe with a sore throat," said Peter rudely. "Don't be horrid," said Molly. "Well, don't you then," said Peter. "I'm not," said Molly. "You are," said Peter. "Now be quiet, you two," said Chinky. "I don't like to hear you quarrelling. You only get silly." "Don't interfere," said Peter crossly. "You talk too much, Chinky." "Yes, remember we've been given 2 ears but only 1 mouth, so you should talk only half as much as you hear," said Molly. "Same to you," said Chinky. "All girls talk too much." "They don't," said Molly. "How horrid of you to say that, Chinky." "You're horrid this morning too," said Chinky. "You're both horrid." "Well, if you think that, just go away and play somewhere else," said Molly at once. "We don't want you." "All right, then I will," said Chinky, offended, and to the children's dismay he got up and walked out of the playroom. "There, now see what you've done," said Peter, getting up. "Sent Chinky away. Suppose he doesn't come back." He ran to the door and called, "Chinky! Hi, Chinky! Come back a minute." But there was no answer. Chinky had gone. There was no sign of him anywhere. "I do think you're horrid and silly," said Peter to Molly. "Fancy sending Chinky away like that." "I didn't mean to," said Molly, almost in tears. "He was being horrid, so I was too. We were all being horrid." "I wasn't," said Peter. "Yes, you were," said Molly. "No, I wasn't," said Peter. "Yes, you were," said Molly. "I shall smack you in a minute." Now, said a voice, and Mother looked in at the door. "You are silly to quarrel like that. Uncle Jack is here and wants to know if you would like to go with him to the farm. They have some puppies there, and he wants to choose one for himself. Would you like to go and help him?" "Oh, yes," cried Peter and Molly. "We'll put on our macks and rubber boots and go with him." So off they ran, forgetting all about their quarrel and all about Chinky too. They went to the farm with Uncle Jack and chose a lovely black puppy with him. Then back home they went, chattering and laughing, forgetting all about how horrid they had been, and enjoying their lovely walk. It was dinner time when they got home. They had dinner and ran down to the playroom afterwards, meaning to ask Chinky to play with them in the field outside the garden. But Chinky wasn't in the playroom. Peter and Molly looked at one another and went red. "Do you suppose he has really gone?" said Molly, feeling upset. "I don't know," said Peter. "I'll whistle for him outside and see if he comes trotting out of the bushes." So Peter went to the door and whistled the little pixie tune that Chinky had taught him. But no Chinky came trotting up. It was really horrid. "Suppose he never comes again," said Molly, crying. "Oh, I do wish I'd never said that to him, telling him to go away. I didn't really mean it." "I shan't like going on adventures in the wishing chair unless Chinky is with us," said Peter. "It isn't any fun without him." "Peter, Do you suppose he will never come and see us again? Asked Molly. I shouldn't be surprised, said Peter. Pixies are funny, you know, not quite like ordinary people. The two children would have been very unhappy indeed if something hadn't suddenly happened to take their minds away from the disappointment. The wishing chair suddenly grew its wings again. Look, said Molly excitedly, the chair is ready to fly off again. Shall we go, Peter? I don't feel as if I want to. Now Chinky's not here, said Peter gloomily. But Peter, I've such a good idea, said Molly, running to him. Listen, let's get in the wishing chair and tell it to go to Chinky's home, wherever it is. I expect he's gone back there, don't you? Then we can say we're sorry and ask him to come back again. That's a fine idea, said Peter at once. Come on, Molly, get in. We'll go at once. So the two children squeezed into the wishing chair. It had grown its 4 red wings round its legs and was lazily flapping them to and fro, longing to be off and into the air once more. Go to Chinky's home, commanded Peter. The chair rose up into the air, flew out of the door and rose high above the streets. It was fun to fly again. The two children looked down on the gardens and fields and wished Chinky were with them, sitting in his usual place on the top of the chair. I wonder where Chinky's home is, said Peter. He's never told us. We shall soon see, said Molly. The chair flew on and on, just below the clouds. Soon it came to the towers and spires of fairyland. Then it suddenly flew downwards to a little village of quaint crooked houses, all of them small and all of them with bright flowery gardens. The chair flew down into one of the gardens and rested there. The children jumped off at once. They went to the little red door of the house and knocked. Won't Chinky be surprised to see us, said Molly. The door opened. An old pixie woman with a very sweet face and bright eyes looked out at them. Oh, said Molly in disappointment. We thought this was Chinky's house. So it is when he's home, said the pixie woman. I'm his mother. Come in, please. They went into the neat and spotless little kitchen. Chinky's mother set ginger buns and lemonade in front of them. Oh, thank you, said Peter. Do you know where Chinky is? He came and asked me to make up his bed for tonight, said the pixie woman. He said he had quarrelled with you and wanted to come and live at home again. The children went red. I didn't mean what I said Molly in a little voice. I expect Chinky was to blame too, said his mother. He went out to buy himself a new handkerchief, and though I've been waiting and waiting for him, he hasn't come back. So I wondered he'd gone back to you again. No, he didn't come back, said Peter. I wonder what's happened to him. We'll stay a little while, if you don't mind, and see if he comes back. Chinky didn't come back, but in a short while a round, fat pixie came running up the path and into the kitchen, puffing and panting. Oh, Mrs. Twinkle, he cried when he saw Chinky's mother. A dreadful thing has happened to Chinky. What? Cried everyone in alarm. He has bought himself a nice new red handkerchief and was walking down the lane home again when a big yellow bird swooped down from the air, caught hold of Chinky by the belt and flew off with him, said the pixie. Oh my, wept Mrs. Twinkle. I know that bird. It belongs to the enchanter Clip-Clap. He always sends that bird of his out when he wants to capture someone to help him. Poor Chinky. Don't cry, said Peter, putting his arms round the old woman. We'll go and look for Chinky. The magic chair we have will take us. We will try to bring him back safely. It's a very good thing we came to look for him. Come on, Molly, get into the wishing chair and we'll tell it to go to wherever Chinky is. In they both got. Peter told the chair to go to Chinky and it rose into the air. Another adventure, said Molly. I do hope it turns out all right. Well, I hope it turns out all right too, don't you? That's the end of the chapter. Next time we'll read The Enchanter Clip-Clap. But until then, Bye-bye, Cleo, and bye-bye, Jessie.